Imagine 10,000 coal miners, armed and marching for justice. In 1921, West Virginia miners had enough of brutal conditions and low wages. After years of failed negotiations, they took up arms against corrupt coal companies and their hired enforcers. The Battle of Blair Mountain became the largest labor uprising in U.S. history. It wasn't just a protest, it was a war for dignity, fair pay, and the right to unionize. But how did it escalate to open conflict? Tensions had been building for years. Coal companies controlled everything: homes, stores, even the law. Miners lived in company-owned towns, paid in company scrip, and faced brutal conditions. When they tried to unionize, they were met with violence. The 1920 Matewan Massacre, where pro-union sheriff Sid Hatfield defended miners against hired gunmen, was a turning point. After Hatfield was assassinated, miners saw no choice but to fight back. Thousands armed themselves and marched toward Blair Mountain. The battle raged for 5 days. Miners, many of them World War I veterans, fought against law enforcement, private militias, and even bombings from private planes. Trenches were dug, machine guns fired, and hundreds were wounded or killed. The U.S. government eventually sent federal troops to intervene. Rather than fight the military, the miners laid down their arms. Though they lost the battle, their struggle brought national attention to the brutal conditions in the coal fields. After the battle, thousands of miners were arrested, and union efforts were crushed for a decade. The coal companies tightened their grip, and many workers lost their jobs. But the fight wasn't in vain. The uprising exposed the harsh realities of coal mining and fueled future labor movements. By the 1930s, federal labor laws finally protected workers' rights to unionize. The miners of Blair Mountain may have lost the battle, but they helped win the war for labor rights. Today, Blair Mountain remains a symbol of workers' resistance. The battlefield was nearly destroyed by modern mining, but activists fought to preserve it. In 2009, it was added to the National Register of Historic Places, ensuring its legacy endures. The miners' courage reminds us that labor rights were won through struggle, not given freely. Their fight still echoes in today's battles for fair wages and safe working conditions. The spirit of Blair Mountain lives on,